I didn't need to. We had an encyclopedia. I started at A when I was 8, and now I've reached T.
I noticed that is a technique that is done a lot more commonly in films of this era, which is almost never done in modern film, which is redubbing things. They dub a lot.
Just to be clear, they dub every movie that ever gets made like mad. They just used to not try to match it up as perfectly in the past, but today you'll see it's still like whatever crazy over 50% of the audio of any given film is completely redubbed. They're just really good at doing it just like verbatim with the mouth movements. But in the past, they would just be like, nobody's going to notice.
The reason back then they weren't done as good as they are today is because of replay value. Back then, there was no such thing as VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever. So they would just do things quickly and cheaply because people just need to see it once on the screen, a movie, and just go on. Whereas you're at home watching stuff over and over again, people will catch it more often. So audio mistakes, that kind of thing would be a little bit more off. Whereas today, they try to make it pristine because they know people can rewatch the stuff as much as they want.
Similarly with the editing, you'll see a couple times there are these jump cuts. Usually it's because some actor missed a cue or things didn't line up correctly. So they'll trim a couple of frames and have this very clear, very obvious jump cut that, again, to Jeff's point, maybe people notice, maybe they don't, but it doesn't matter because, whatever, people are just going to watch this in a theater. Maybe they'll only watch it a couple times in their life. And then fast forward to now, and it has to be as perfect as possible because people could be watching it all day, every day in their homes.
All these YouTube videos where people want to nitpick every little issue with a movie nowadays.
Yeah. What I was referencing specifically is not just the film technique of dubbing, but rather that they would use an actor whose accent they deemed unfit for the actual audio in the film and would straight up replace that with an actor whose voice is more decipherable to an audience.
Are you talking about the boat captain guy?
Okay, Honey Rider.
I'm actually referring to Honey Rider in the film.
Wait. Her entire performance is dubbed by
someone else.
Someone other than Ursula Andress?
Yep.
Yes.
What?
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
What?
They did a good job.
Again, I'm not just talking about the film technique of dubbing a film. I'm talking about fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in Hercules in New York, like straight up replacing his voice completely.
Patterson, I will point out, though, to defend the film to some extent, is that a lot of her scenes are outdoors and next to waves, right?
Yeah.
So when Charlie's talking about they're redubbing, 50% of movies, sometimes, especially back then, filming outside is a pain in the ass. If you've ever done it yourself, especially if you're next to waves or fountains or things like that,
sure.
like you're not going to get clean audio from waves, especially going cut to cut. So,
man.
So it doesn't surprise me that they recut her dialogue.
It's a pain in the ass for Charlie to fucking edit this with just the six of us sitting here.
Yeah. Just a side note on that, in places where filmmaking is very prevalent and the people there know, so Los Angeles, when they see a production going on close by them, these people the locals will go outside and do whatever they can to make a shit ton of noise. They'll start mowing their lawn. They'll turn on the leaf blower. They'll honk their horn, put their dog out to bark, whatever it is, because they know that these companies are so desperate for silence that they'll send a production assistant over there or associate producer or whatever.
It's usually a location manager.
$100. Yeah, a location manager with a couple $100 to fill their pocket. We're going to pay you to shut the up. So it's like everybody in the neighborhood is like, hey, we're going to get $250 tonight. Sir, it's 4 a.m. Why are you power washing? Just to be clear, though, is it not her voice?
No, it is not. Nikki Van Der Zil. I can't pronounce her last name.
And she is uncredited even.
Yeah. There's a lot of people actually uncredited in this film.
I like to think I have a good eye for when these odd, sped up jump cuts. I have a good eye for that. I have a good ear for when overdubbing happens, even in modern films. The fact that I didn't know this makes me think twice about how good my ear is. I mean, or maybe I just don't know Ursula at all. Or maybe I'm staring below her face, below her mouth throughout the movie. I don't.
So, Charlie, you were talking about the boat guys.
We know you're there. We've been expecting you.
I mean, you can tell it's dubbed.
No, it's even better is when he puts the megaphone away, his voice is still amplified like a megaphone.
We'll be back. We'll be back with the dogs. Full speed ahead.